All right, we are back with the Sayless Projects podcast, and I'm excited today to have Kim with me. Say hello, Kim.
Hello, everyone.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to have you. We're going to jump right into it for the people. If you can, just talk about where you're from a little bit, maybe a story or two of kind of like how you got into running, just to kind of let people know a little bit more about you.
Yeah, I'm originally from Dallas, Texas. I went to school in Austin, and that's where I kind of started running. My senior year of college, I got into run clubs and just meeting people in that community. Also, I think COVID played a really big role in that with online classes. Everything was online, so I didn't have too much social interaction. Um, Also, I played soccer since I was 5, so I've always been pretty active. So just wanted to get into running and stay active in that way.
That's awesome. You're somebody, I think from the moment I met you, I could tell you were like you either were a runner or you got into running during like the run club boom. I even brought you up on a podcast I was on recently when I was talking about like the growth we had at Oak Cliff Run Crew. And I mentioned that you had posted us on TikTok, and I swear like 100 people showed up that next week, which is so cool. What when you did you so did you were running kind of before the run club stuff took off?
Yeah, so oh, I'm sorry. I just got a
You're
call.
good. That's totally fine. You're popular, so you might yeah, you're gonna have to hit do not disturb.
Okay.
We're just keeping it real on here, so we're just gonna leave that in there.
So I played soccer since I was 5. I played a little bit in college. And so once I stopped playing, I think it was my freshman year of college, that's when I was like, okay, like I need to stay active. I need to do something. And so I just started running then. So it was like 2018, 2019,
Okay.
where I wasn't a part of any run clubs. And then once, like post COVID, I was still in Austin and I wanted to make new friends and just explore the city in that way. So I joined a run club, like on South Congress. And it was in the summertime. And that's where I really got plugged into the running community. There was like Coach Jesse in Austin, who's like a coach out there and has helped a lot of runners. And everyone was just super welcoming. And I learned so much through that. And I think that's why I kept coming back, especially for that community to learn about running and just stay active in a really fun city.
That's awesome. What would you say, what's a memory that comes to mind, like one of your most memorable runs that you've had?
Um, well, I feel like I've had a lot of memorable runs just with like friends, especially here in Dallas. Like you mentioned, my TikTok, some of my best friends like ran up to me while I was at Run Club. Like so many times people just come up and they're like, "We saw your TikTok and that's why I'm here." And I always love hearing people's stories. So whether it's running with strangers or my best friends now, like those are really memorable. But I think one that really stands out currently is and I'm sure we'll get into this in the like later on in the conversation, but it was 2 days after my father passed away.
Mhm.
It was my first run back, and I didn't know how I was going to feel. My half marathon was in 11 days, and I knew I needed to get back into it. Like I couldn't lose it. I had that goal in mind, and I needed to just go on that run. And so I went to the Katy Trail. It was in the evening time, and I pressed start in my Nike Run Club app. And as soon as I took those few steps, I was like, I can't do this. I literally cannot get through this run. But at that moment, I was just like, I have to. Like, I kept going. I took a few more steps. I was like point 0.4 into it. I had to stop again. And that's just how my 3 mile run kept going. And I was literally sobbing on the Katy Trail. I'm like, who can I call? Like, what can I do? What am I even doing out here right now? And so I called my run coach, Coach Caleb, and I was like, I don't think I can like do this like if I can barely get through 1 mile, how am I going to get through 13? And so he was like super empathetic and understanding. And that's when he was like, you need to dig into your why and you need to understand like why you're doing it. And just maybe it's like the worst run ever, or maybe it's uncomfortable or it's like emotional, but you need to let it all out and just do it. Just get through it. Like your why will guide you and will get you through it. And that's what I did. But it was definitely scary to just start. And I just knew I had to keep going. Whether I don't know how that was gonna look like, but it got done.
I love that. That's powerful. That's a big reason why we're doing this. I think that's obviously part of your why, which was my next question. But, last year you were someone who supported us by dedicating some miles, like having no idea what you were about to go through. And a year later, here you are. Now you're running for this important subject of suicide prevention and mental health. For you, what are some of the reasons why you said yes, like you said less when I asked you the first time if you'd like to help, and then also this time being such a bigger step of saying, yeah, I will run from Dallas to Austin for this cause.
Yeah, I guess when you first emailed me and let me know about it, I was a little surprised and shocked just because all of the runners from last year, like I admire and I look up to as people and runners. I think they're like strong pillars in the community. So I never really saw myself in that light, but literally like the values and the mission is what like aligns with me. And what I've been like trying to work towards and just live every single day. So I think the most scary part was actually running, because I feel like my running journey has been kind of unconventional. Like, I'm not like those runners that run 20, 30 miles a week. I'm more of, I'm going to show up to run club, I'll run my 2 or 3 miles, and I just want to like get through it and push myself a little more than I did in the past. So I think just like I said, like the why really is what guides me. And so I knew this was something that was a part of my values. And I was like, I have to do it. Like, I have to get out of my comfort zone. I have to be a part of this community and just do something bigger than myself to create that impact. Because I feel like I try to do that through my videos, whether that's sharing information or just encouraging one person to come to Run Club. But this is like super personal. Like, this is something that impacts me on a daily basis. So I was like, I just got to do it. I got to say yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to encourage you, I mean, you were nominated because you're somebody who gives off that energy. There's a lot of cool runs these days that you can be a part of, and by all means, I'm inspired by all the different runs that are out there. This one, like, really, we're trying to just keep it to like this purpose and have this type of energy involved with it, so that it stays to the core and the message of what we're trying to do. And I think that you're somebody who lives it, and it's a beautiful example of, yeah, we're not all running the same amount of miles every week, and some people are faster than others, but at the end of the day it's just about us going for it and pushing. And I mean, even last year we had people who were injured, or maybe they couldn't do it as at the level they had wanted to, or none of us did the miles we thought we were going to do, to be transparent. We were all like, yeah, I'm going to do 50 miles, and we just weren't there yet. But again, it goes back to like sometimes it's just showing up. It's just going for it, and it's not even about if you make it or you get the medal. It's as cliche as it is, it really is the journey. So you just talked about the time you lost your father, which we both have that in common, unfortunately for us. But as you've walked through that, I know it's very fresh for you and it's a lot more recent for you. What are some things that you have done in this past few months that have helped you with your mental health? Because I know the reality is it's tough. Like, we can put on our game face for this podcast, but it comes in waves, and grief is a strange thing that we all deal with differently. So for you, like, one example you just gave was you called your coach on that run, which I think is awesome. Are there any other tips you might give for someone who's walking through what you're walking through?
Yeah. So I next week will be 5 months since he passed away, and I feel like at first I just tried to resume my life as it was before by doing everything that I could, whether that was like yoga classes, going to every single run club, just going out, just staying focused on work. And I feel like that helped at a certain level. But most recently, you know, I have tried to just stay positive and show up in all the spaces as if I am really strong. And I know I am strong, but, portraying that can be really exhausting all the time when you're not. So
Mm.
So I think a lot of people say, you know, you never know what someone is going through, so just always be kind. And I didn't realize that until most recently, where like I could look like if you just look at my social media, it looks like life is just great. As we mentioned in like prior to this, where I'm surrounded by good people, I'm just running and doing all of this stuff. But in reality, like, I think I've cried every single week, and just everything reminds me of my dad. And I don't talk about it. I think this is one of the first times that I am talking about just how not okay I am. And I think that's okay. So this process has been really eye-opening for me because it's these moments of just vulnerability that I want to push a little bit more for myself and for others to just have that open conversation because it's really, really hard. It's really hard for me. But I'd say number one is just being surrounded by really good people, your community. And the crazy thing is that I feel like my core community came from Oak Cliff Run Crew. They were there at my dad's funeral. They were there prior, during, before, after, and they're still there. Just always checking in and going on these runs. And like it was less about the run, but more of that community that I always knew someone was going to be there by my side, whether that's just to check in or talk about really deep stuff. But I think that's what's helped me the most, just having good community and them saying it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to talk about the memories of your dad. And that's something that I was trying to like not do because I didn't want to put that on them. But they gave me that opportunity and safe space to know that it's okay. Like, we want to hear it. We want to hear it. We want to support you through this. And that was really eye opening because, like I said, I try to just resume my life like nothing happened. And I knew that wasn't going to work. So it's a work in progress. Of course, yoga classes are amazing. I love doing that. I love spending time with family. I think content creation has also been a good outlet for me where I can continue to find the beauty in the little things. So those are the top things.
That's great. Your crew within the crew is so awesome. I mean, watching y'all meet, because I swore y'all all knew each other and
No,
came together, and I was like, oh, cool. Like this group, like of friends came, but as I talked to each one of y'all individually, yeah, like y'all didn't even know each other. So it's crazy.
when I first went to Run Club, I didn't know one person, like zero, nobody. I just showed up and then I met like 25 plus people that really do feel like family.
That's amazing. I love that. That's like when me and the other co-founders meet, not to make this all about that, but like that's one of the things that we really are keeps us going, honestly. Because, the crowd and all the stuff comes and goes, but seeing people genuinely meeting and being there for each other just really motivates us. Now, for the run itself, what are you excited about? What are you nervous about? What are you anxious about? I think obviously the running part, because you just said you may not be running as many miles as the others, but
Yeah.
just what's on your mind about the run?
I'm nervous about dogs chasing me. That's number one.
Yeah,
Um, I'm I'm really excited to just be a part of that crew. I honestly didn't know any of them prior. So during this time I've been meeting them, learning their story, listening to this podcast to understand their why. So I'm excited about that, but I'm also really excited to just like get the word out. I think Austin and Dallas are my two core cities. I used to live in Austin for 6 years, moved back to Dallas last year. So it's like a full circle moment where like all of my running communities are merging in a way. And like just when I started running in Austin and then now Dallas. So I think it's going to be really emotional. I think it's really going to be another moment of digging deep into like, why am I doing this? And appreciate it with like the people that I'm doing it with. Because after hearing their stories, like I'm inspired and just even more excited to just go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're probably gonna have like signs. You'll be the only person that has signs out there in the middle of this nowhere saying "Go Kim" as we get close. We'll do all everything we can about the dog situation. Um, but you did sign a waiver, so unfortunately, you just gotta roll with it.
I'll
Um, what are some things you hope as we get ready to wrap up here, but what are some things that, like you just said, there's people who may not know you at all, but there's also people even close to that don't know the things you go through and all of that. What are some things you hope people get out of you being involved in this and also seeing the collective group accomplishing something like this?
Yeah, I think personally for me, I feel like a lot of the things that I do is already like carefully curated, like what I post, like I know what I'm gonna like post and what I want that to be kind of perceived. So I really want to take this opportunity to just let that go and just be vulnerable and to just take in everything as it is. And so I want to share that side of me and who I am and just fully embrace it versus trying to just, you know, perfectly curate it to how I want it. So that's number one. So I'm excited to stay tuned to those lives while we're running. Like that's what I'm nervous about, but on Instagram, like I just want to show the real part of all of that. But then in terms of just the team, I think they're all like really great runners. I'm really inspired by all of them. And I think we're going to do a really good job with keeping it light, but also knowing that there's like a bigger purpose of like why we're doing this and just letting that guide us. So, really excited to just see the finish line, but enjoy the process because it hasn't been easy.
Absolutely. Well, I want to just acknowledge you and let you know that I think that you are someone who is brave. I'm excited that you're stepping out of your comfort zone, and everything you said is so powerful. Like, it's so easy. I mean, especially for someone like you who is creative and you're able to curate a certain visual, but for people to know that, yo, like you just lost your father 5 months ago, and there's other things going on in your life. Some of them are nobody's business, but you're going through what you're going through, and yet you're showing up. And I just want to acknowledge that and tell you that I'm inspired, I'm encouraged, being someone who has been a little bit privy to the things that you're going through. And so I encourage you to keep going, proud of you, and we'll see you out there from Dallas to Austin.
Yay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I can't wait.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Thanks. Bye.